Alright, welcome back, friends and fiends. We're going to jump in and do another solo RPG stream today. Hope that you guys are ready. It is Unlucky. We're doing a river part. It's our solo RPG. And it's Unlucky session number 13. So, we were a little bit more unlucky, I suppose, in the last session, in which we had a pretty big development that came up that we're going to have to start dealing with this session. Go ahead. Matches I think I've ever had in my life. There we go. All right. So yes, we're jumping back in. Let's. You know what? There's no need to sort of beat around the bush. Why don't we just go ahead and jump into the recap? If this is your first time joining, don't worry. You're actually joining in a relatively good and easy spot to jump in. And if you've been following the stuff, you know everything we're up to. If you want to watch the whole series, we're gonna have the link to the playlist down in the description. Check that out. But let's jump into exactly kind of what happened last time. So, last time, we started off in the middle of camping in the deep woods, and during that, our party of 3, of course, that is Landlitta Reed, that is our wonderful young halfling noble, that is Kristoff, his bodyguard, a older veteran half-elf warrior, and Gertrude, I would probably say that she's probably roughly about 30 in human years. That's sort of her age, and she is a druid, not of the like D&D class, but of a religious druid, pre-Christian, pagan, whatever you want to call it, druid, and she is sort of is the advisor. And we started off that combat with a number of homunculi, bat-shaped stone little creatures flying into the campsite. There's a bit of, we jumped it off right off with some combat. Knocked that out, wasn't too big of a deal. And after some little investigation, we figured that the homunculi were coming from the direction of the monster-infested folk religious site that we know is to the west of us, or was to the west of us, about southwest now. And the party was able to finish their long rest. At this point, they're headed northwest towards a storehouse that they knew was overrun by fiends. So in the morning, they get up, they march through the swamplands, they look for that haven, which they find, which is that storehouse. They check out the hostile bunkhouse area that's kind of outside of the storehouse. They find a number of decaying dead bodies inside of it that appear to have been ritually sacrificed. And upon investigation, they found out that those rituals are still active, and that there are a number of small, kind of like woodland animals, dead animals, who have tried to either munch on the corpses or cross over those active ritual sites that now fills kind of the bunkhouse area, and they croaked as well. So they pretty much left that alone. So they went out and they decided to hoist Kristoff into the hayloft of the storehouse in front of the storehouse. That way he could get in through the second story and kind of sniff around and sneak, because he's kind of our best sneaky person, even with his heavy armor on, and the person most likely to be able to take a hit if should things go down. In that, unfortunately, a patrol came by and found them on the other two outside, because Reed had really bad hiding. Even though we rolled a natural 1, which as a halfling allows him to re-roll it, I think he rolled a 3 or 4 on the die. So he just kind of stood out in the open. They got attacked by a number of creatures. Kristoff kind of came in, and that battle happened. Fortunately, in that battle, there was an imp that showed up, which is a slightly more powerful fiend, and turned invisible. And as Reed was trying to move away from the area, Invisible got a little opportunity attack, which he got advantage on, and hit him real bad. And he went, unfortunately, he'd already been damaged once, and he does not have a lot of hit points as a 0 level character, and he got perma-killed. So no death saves. He took his max HP in 1 strike of damage, past 0. So he went down. the duo kind of start freaking out, our retainers here. So Kristoff and Gertrude. Kristoff is like, okay, I'm going to go search the bunkhouse to see if I can find something. Gertrude ran into the storehouse to see if she could find anything. We had made a check to make sure that there weren't like any other fiends that were still in the area that they might run across, and they weren't able to find anything. Kristoff was able to find a scroll of gentle repose, which was incredibly helpful. That was such a lucky roll on our sort of treasure table to see if they could find something useful. Gertrude found some instructions on sanctifying the ground and found a willow staff of flowers, neither of which are particularly helpful at this moment, but could be later. And the duo meets back up. Gertrude failed to interpret a journal that you'd found earlier, but they do take that, and Gertrude is able to cast Gentle Repose on Reed's body. So, unfortunately, that takes more than a minute for them to search the things, find in a truly windfall luck, find something that they were looking for. Oh, realize my chat's not loading. Okay, there we go. That did it. Okay, now. No, don't do that. That's not what I want. Oh well, not that important, but it is. No matter. I accidentally docked something in OBS. Not trying to dock. But that's alright. We'll suffer through. There we go. So I can keep my eye on chat. Oh. So, we cast Gentle Repose, and they are kind of in... That's pretty much where we left it off. We left it off with one little aspect, which is that we had the soul of our dearly departed Reed drifting across the void, across that astral sea, kaleidoscopic space between spaces. And Reed feels his soul's movement and progress moving towards whatever afterlife, what the area that he's going to start to slow, and come to a full halt due to that Gentle Repose spell. Tethering him, keeping him still tenuously tethered to his corporeal. And out of the void came an entity. And it appeared small. And then hard to judge things like depth perception when you don't have anything around to kind of help you with that. And then any sort of like context for that. Started about small as a marble, but bigger, and bigger, and now it is large as a mountain for him. This booming silhouette as an earth existent speaking voice reverberates through the soul. Same way like when you stand next to a big speaker at a concert or something like that and you can feel it in your chest. That is exactly the feeling. But for now, I think we'll jump back to the other two. Let me pull us over and get us started. Alright, here we go. We're gonna jump back in. Bop, bop, bop. Go. So, session 13. It's still spring weather 44. It's still warm. There's super high winds, like gusting winds right now, so disadvantage on range and hearing, perception checks, but luckily no rain, so just a bunch of high wind. So everybody's pretty much tapped out on the stamina meter. They could try to go one more. They have an exhaustion to go, and that'll be part of the conversation they're about to have. So, what's our scene? It's the exterior. It's sunset. They're camping. They set up camp at the storehouse. They could continue moving, but I think a very quick conversation is like, look, we're losing the light. Not a land we're super familiar with. It would probably behoove us both to camp here. We have 10 days. Probably if we can't make it there, a few hours where we're going to try to go, which we don't know where that is yet. A few hours is not going to make the biggest difference in the world. They have a little meager campfire outside the storehouse doors, and that whipping wind is causing the flames to gutter back and forth, despite having that kind of wind screen, having a wind block up against it, using it against the storehouse. And we pick up with the two of them down, sitting next to the campfire. Gertrude is finishing wrapping Reed's body in a shroud, and Kristoff finishes constructing a litter in which to carry the body. very somber theme. All right. Well, I think the litter's ready. You want to go ahead and yes, Gertrude kind of picks up this small child-sized body. Obviously, he's a halfling, so seems child-sized. Lays it on this litter, which it looks kind of small compared to stuff. Of course, I mean, makes a litter that's kind of him-sized. So it kind of looks a little small, but once they put Reed's here also on the litter, it's like, takes up most of the space. Kind of looks down at it. Be a long night, and coming days be difficult, stressful. Perhaps there is something we can do. I've kind of like leaned back on his heels, squatting next to the campfire. Really? Okay, so there is something. I was thinking, I don't need to tell you, but the consequences of this is that we can't go back to the Furstentum with the boy dead. We go back there, they'll cut us down. Or if we're lucky, they'll cut us down. If we're unlucky, they'll drag us all the way to the Glory Bend Hall and make a public execution. So if we can't get this figured out, I don't think if you're interested in living, we can't. Honestly, it'll probably be even better for us if we not stay close to each other. Gertrude just kind of lets it. Well, you know what? Let me see if I can put it together for us to eat. Maybe give us a minute, some food in us. Think about some that do tonight. If not, maybe a rest will clear our heads. And to sit down as the light starts to fade, as sunset passes into dusk. And it's at this point that a group of travelers begins to arrive. Go ahead and give them a perception check. We can. Alright, there we go. You know what? I haven't even opened character sheets. Let's get Kristoff up. Great. This is a site-based one, so he does have advantage on it. Right. That's going to give him 13 plus 3, so it's 16. And for Gertrude, I don't think. No, so it is going to be Kristoff who picks it up first. These lanterns. First, one lantern kind of coming out of the kind of. Well, actually, what kind of area are they? Yeah, so they're coming out of the hilled area. So down out of these like pined hills that this area is kind of backed up against, you can see them start to float out of that and into the swamp land. 1, 2, 3. Hard to tell. Maybe half a dozen lights flickering in and out. They're waning and bouncing. Very easy for people who are accustomed to this type of lighting and seeing at night to know that these are lanterns. The people, something's carrying. People are carrying. And why is this happening? Well, I'll tell you, because I was looking at the actual, when I was trying to figure out after, all the stuff that went down last session, I was like, oh, what are we going to do here? What are we going to do? I forgot that there's a 1 in 6 chance to encounter hunters and trappers, which we did not roll for when we got there. I was like, oh, I should roll for that. I'm like, it's not going to come up with that. There's a 5 in 6 chance that nothing's there. And of course, off camera, that's when I roll the 1. So we have a group of hunters and trappers that are arriving at the site. I rolled for it. There's 5 of them. But what I don't know is, and we'll just roll right now. I don't know what sort of ancestry they are. 99. Wow, I think that means that I think that's going to throw them in miscellaneous. Double check. Going to fully throw them in miscellaneous. Oh, not that one. Where have I placed it? Not there. I've placed this information somewhere. Oh, it's probably under. Nope, not there either. Well, I thought this would be easy to find. I didn't even think to look at it beforehand. Nope, not there. Nope. That's our NPC. Well, go look that up, but I think I'm just not seeing it in here because that's right. I didn't go down far enough. That's the issue. 99. So we've landed in others. Very interesting. Okay. Well, it could be that kind of leaves us up to any kind of D&D ancestry that we want. So, easiest way to look that up. I was not expecting that. All right, so we're gonna have some. You know what? Let's just ask an oracle question. Are these monstrous people? Question. No. Okay. They're gonna be humanoid races. Go 5e tool. Let's go check our species tab. So using the new rules, this is what we kind of have available to us, which is like way too many. I wish these were numbered, but I don't have them numbered. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll I'm just going to roll a d20 and we're going to go down the line on things that we couldn't have gotten. And that's what we're going to get. How about this? We'll roll 2d20 takes higher. How about that? 14. That's 1, 2, do that, 3, 4. No, because we're not counting monsters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not gonna mess with decimals. Well, sure, we'll say that's half. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, because I don't believe that are on that list. 10, I don't know much about. 11, 12, I think. 13. I was just gonna give us half orc anyways. That's fine. That's fine. I'll take half orcs. So, question: is it just one of them the half orcs, or are all of them half orcs? I did not specify, so we're gonna have to roll that again. Is just one of them half and a half orc? No, not at all. The exact opposite. They're all half orcs. Okay, interesting. So a band of half orcs. That took probably too long to actually answer that question than worth. That's okay. Sometimes it's like that when you're rolling a solo RPG and you're trying to leave things up to the whims of fate. All right, so 5 hunters and trappers versus storehouse. as dusk turns into night. Come up and they sort of take a look. I think they see obviously they're going to see the fire and they're going to see the people sitting outside. I assume that these people, you know what, that sounds like an insight check. Rather than assume, let's just do insight. Neither of these characters are good at insight. This is why we needed Reed in the party. We don't have Reed, so well, here we are. All right, so they got a nice +0 to that. But he's got a +1. I'll give him advantage because she's technically helping. So technically, she can help and give guidance in the same thing. All right, 17, 18. That's pretty good. Let's get a DC. That'll be 17. All right, so we're safe. Okay. We just got 15 + 2 is 17. So our 18 is just going to pass that. Good. Do we get the idea that these people are neutral? I'm inclined to believe so. If they're showing up, they don't appear to be. They didn't charge in to like attack. They didn't seem to be particularly wearisome. That's not how we kind of describe them. So I assume they're coming in basically as hunters and trappers who are probably looking to bed down for the night, get a meal, and that sort of thing. So I think that's extremely likely. Yes. And that's a yes and got over 20 or over. So let's say that they show up and they are not only surprised by the situation, and because they are here to like offload some of the things that they have picked up, like bundles of hides and things of that nature, and some animal meat that they have had and been able to sort of jerk or preserve in other ways. Probably at least one fresh carcass of something they've hunted, and also other things like antlers and hoofs and other parts that would be useful that people would be interested in purchasing. So they show up here. They're looking around. They meet them. You gotta come up. What the? Where is everybody? I don't know you two. Who are you? Let's see. Mark, does he see the blood stain? He's gonna be able to make out the blood stain of Reed, which they're not far away from. Or Reed, kind of kicked the bucket. Did something happen here? Kristoff is, and they both have a +1 charisma. Not really talky people. Not really their thing. Yeah. He kind of thumbs over to one of the Reed shrouded body next to him. Yeah, we showed up here and earlier today and found out it was overrun by these fiends. There's still some sort of strange ritual or whatever seems to be active in the bunkhouse, so making camp out here. We haven't found any living people, that's it. So your guess is sort of good as ours. So I take it that this, and they know this because they were taking a look and they were trying to figure out that this has probably only happened like maybe a few weeks ago. So probably while these hunters and trappers were out gathering pelts and doing the like before they came back. So this happened while they were away, most likely. Maybe a few weeks old. Hard to tell with the rituals on those bodies, but yeah, it doesn't look like anybody's been here for a little bit. Ooh, all right. Well, do these belts. You two aren't looking to buy pelts, are you? Like, no. Yeah, understandable. Understand. All right. Wow. Sorry, I should introduce myself. Let's get a name for this guy. I'm gonna pull up. I should have done it before. Antlers. And we're just gonna go all the way to the back because that's. Oop, went too far. There we are. All right. So the question is does this half orc, who I've been kind of presenting as male, so I guess it's probably male, at least male presenting. You got a Germanish name, but yeah, sure does. So that makes sense. I mean, we're still in an area where German language is kind of the primary thing, which would understand why they can talk to him pretty easily. Still seems to be roughly the common tongue in this area. All right, D100. Let's find out what this dude's name is. It's either this or he's gonna have a half orc name. But he's gonna have a German name. Simon. Simon the half orc. Gotcha. Played by Simon. Seem equally surprised at the state of the storehouse. I'm going to give them an insight read. So I don't think we're going to use magic because we got somebody right up on us. If we start waving our hands around in somebody's face doing magic stuff, they're going to freak out. So we can't add the guidance to it, but I do think that we can do an insight check, and again, Kristoff is just marginally better because neither of them are any good at it, but I do think they're both there. They're both trying to get a read. Get it? Reed's dead. 15. Unfortunately, the DC is 18. So they're trying to get a read. Kristoff's kind of trying to get a read on these guys and figure out about like how much he wants to tell them about the situation, which feels like you should probably also make a deception check then. So maybe I'll make this question for myself. Is it more important? Let's see if we can get inside Kristoff and Gertrude's heads. Is it more important that they keep their cards close to their chest, or that they express the things that they need right now and just hope people will help them? They're in a real tough spot, and they're beyond the border, so the likelihood that anybody knows about Reed or Reed's death or could claim the prize on him, probably unlikely that these people know, since they came out of the northwest, out of the woods, filled woods area. I probably don't know. I think that's easy enough to say. They likely don't know. So yeah, I think for them it's more important to maybe get the help. So yeah, I think they're gonna make a deception check. I'm gonna give them the deception check an advantage, and that'll give them the opportunity to get another insight check about whether these people can be trusted or not. Deception check. Alright, they did poorly. You know what? We should set a scene DC. What? Ooh, that's very high. Let's go with what we already had. I was thinking about doing that as soon as I was started rolling, which would have put us at a 17, right? We'll just go ahead and put that. This is just gonna be a straight up DC 17. I should have done that. I usually do a scene DC. Didn't do it this time. So we fail to. They immediately get the whiff that our two NPCs, our two retainers, are leaving out pieces that they are holding information back. That's maybe putting the half-orcs on, you know, a little bit of the defensive, like, hey, we showed up, there's a bunch of people missing, and you're telling us that there are people that are dead. We can see bloodstains where clearly somebody died. And yeah, and then they're like, do you trust these people? Right now you outnumbered them, but there's more of them hiding somewhere. Maybe not. So we're gonna give them advantage on the inside check, though. Did roll better. 16. But a 16 will still not make a DC 17. Hey. Really sucks to not have Reed for social encounters. He's much better at them, with a high wisdom and a high charisma. So they don't pick up on. They don't know if they can trust it. So I think that they're just in desperation. And that's going to Reed. The half-orcs are going to pick up the... Look, sorry, we need help. Our friend was cut down when we came here. We killed what was left of these fiend creatures to our knowledge. We were able to look through storehouse. We found a way to perhaps keep his soul tethered here for a bit, but we need some potent resurrection magic. And we're looking for help. You, Simon, sorry. Do you know of anybody around who might know that? Might have that sort of magic, who can do such a great deed? How will Simon receive? I think we did enough failed rolls that Simon will agree, but he wants a little something for it. I can agree to this. Sorry, I'm not really doing this voice. Yeah, I can agree to that. We've lost a lot of money, it seems like, on this trip. A lot of time, a lot of resources, and we get here, there's nobody to buy our stuff. Now, you're saying you won't buy it. And I understand. Seems like you have your own things going on. But, hey, we could maybe scratch each other's backs here. A little quid pro quo. So, what I'm thinking is... tell you some information, seems helpful to you, you give us some payment, one way or another. Christoph feels kind of like, I don't know about that. I think Gertrude will go, agreed. The better information you provide, the better your reward might be. Yeah, alright. Sure. Well, how about we break bread over it? I'm sure there's a pot of wine in there. Let me boys go find it. We'll have a drink. Have a nibble. We'll put our heads together and see if we can find you some help. All right, so they agree. First back here, so they agree to provide information in exchange for a, you know, kind of like reasonable, whatever they think a reasonable reward for that information might be, because powerful resurrection magic is Expensive. Very rare. This is definitely one of the things that I think like Gertrude's kind of been mulling over in her mind, where she's like, oh, opportunity to find like somebody who could cast magic that resurrects somebody within a minute of death is like 1 in like 10 casters. Like there are definitely casters of that caliber. They're not too difficult to find, but trying to find somebody who can do it past a minute, kind of like exponentially more, like a 1 in 100 chance of finding something. A lot more difficult. Not that there aren't people that do it, and certainly those people will be known because they're powerful magic users. It's just they're not going to be close to you. All right, so let's take a look at what they know. So I think because we know they have to be a somewhat powerful caster, it can't be anybody. This is our usual map. If you're not familiar with it, this is the one we're playing on right now. Each of these little hexes is about an hour of travel, and we're stuck right there where that lovely little heart is. You can see the path of where we came from down there, all the way from White Birch. Crossed over the border. So, what I think is what we have to look at is that nothing that's going to show up in one of these hexes will be high enough caliber caster to be able to do anything. So what we need to do is we actually need to go to our other map, which is this map. This is one layer up. So you'll see like how these kind of weird hex patterns are. Yeah, each of these hexes, all of these hexes fit into one of these hexes. So right now we're right there. No, I'm sorry. That's not where we are. That's how foolish of me. No, we are right here. That's where we are. I could probably delete. That's fine. I'm not going to focus on that. Not going to focus on that in the moment. It's fine. So, we need to see if there's somebody like in this area. So, this is the only thing we know about up there. This star up here is a treasure room. That won't be helpful for us. Closest thing that we know of is White Birch Inn, which is not going to be helpful for us. We can actually cheat. Quick. What? Good. I know I'm getting down the weeds, but I'm surprised we didn't put it in here. There we go. APL 04. Right. APL stands for. Oh, it should be higher than that. That is not correct. So I guess I haven't done one for. Okay, that's fine. We can roll d6 and figure that out. Okay, it's APL 05. Perfect. Unless I put it down on this one. And click on the right thing. I did not. That's fine. And this is not important. There we go. And now that's better. There we go. All right. So we know that there's not really going to be anybody. We've been in White Birch Inn. That's one of the ways we got across the borderland. We didn't know anybody there, so there's always a chance we could go there, and some of the rangers there or windwalkers might know people, but the likelihood of that is pretty slim. Since we were just there, we also know that that's one place where we got attacked by bandits, so the Reed's notoriety is following him and people are chasing him. So going back in that direction is not the greatest idea in the world. But desperate times call for desperate measures. But that is sort of like a low chance move. It will take us days to get there. And days are the timeline is really tight for us. So maybe not the greatest decision in the world. But let's find out what our fun half-orcs know about this area. So they're travelers around, so I think that they are pretty confident. So I'm gonna give them. Let's figure out what their confidence is. Ooh, that's very high confidence. I was giving them advantage because they're travelers by nature. So yeah, that means they're like 90% confident about stuff, about where things are. So their information should be pretty good. So the question is literally, do they know of anybody? And I think that that is a full-on 50-50 shot because we don't have enough information to be able to tell us one way or another. So do they know of anybody who might be useful? They do. Great. What direction are they in? 4. So if we go here, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh. Sorry, 4 would be here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, to the southwest. Okay. Well, that only gives us a little bit of area. So, unless they know about somebody at this specific dungeon lair, or this landmark, which I think we may have already, this wandering monster. I don't know if we have taken a look. Have we filled out any of that information? We have not. That would be this hex. So it could be something in that information. But if it was that, there's a high chance that Gertrude would know about it as well. So I'm more inclined to put anything that they know knowledge of would be kind of like within these hexes, maybe. So if that's the case, let's give them maybe like a 1d4, because that would bring these into play as well. All right, I like that. As for like distance, how far away is this thing? 3. Excellent. Okay, so a 1, a 2, a 3 puts us right here. So there's a landmark. Landmarks do have people sometimes that are at them. That also puts us within 1, 2, 3. So either one of these is more likely to be it. You know what? I kind of like the idea that it's the wandering monster. It is nice. But let's just ask. It's wandering monster. Yes! Excellent. It is indeed the wandering monster. Alright. And let's get us a little information about that wandering monster. I'm gonna put this in. Sorry, I have to go up here and look at this real quick. Okay, so that puts us in. Right next to ourselves. Okay. I am just trying to figure that out. Alright, so that's gonna be some sort of natural beast. And. Oof. Let me pull that document up. Hey, Coder, how you doing? Are you late? Just a little, but all we're doing is we're having a conversation with some trappers and hunters who showed up at the storehouse. Trying to get a lead on somebody who might be able to magically revive Reed. He is VOD. So I need more. And good that. We rolled a 3 and a 10. That would be some sort of elemental. Interesting. Alright, so let's get another d6 roll. Another d6 roll. Okay, 1. So that's gonna be another APL 05. We can find out we can find something out for that real quick. Staring right at it, I know. Filter. Zip, 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 zip. We need an elemental, and we can't have basically anything better than probably. We're gonna do it. Definitely do that. Thorn, Prime Hulk. I'm trying to think of what something like this. The old murder comet. Don't action shambling mound, poison weird, a peck. Uh, mm. All right. Well, if they can cast a level 5 abjuration, that seems like just the sort of people that we're looking for. Okay, that gives us a little information. So they know of these pecks. I'm not creature, especially staircase. That's probably why. All right, so they seem to be like little minor guys. You're gonna get like a elemental Kuatoa kind of feel to them with that communal spell casting. Definitely gonna be like a group of them. They're CR4, so that would make sense. That makes sense. Reed should revive at at level -1. It's hard to go down. It's hard to go down. We'll see. There's a chance. There's a chance something will happen. But right now we're on day 0. All right, so we know about. They know about a group of pecks, so we can fill that out on our world map, which is great. So APL 05. With wandering pecks. And we'll go ahead and put in there that, hey, those guys are elementals. And they know pretty good information. Helps document. So we need a Vande. There we go. So what are they doing? Let's go with our little D4. Let's roll a D4. Maybe even 2. See if we can slam them together. I need to upgrade this table a little bit. There's not too much. One of a million projects I'm constantly working. 2 and 4. Foraging, hunting, or scouting. Both of those seem good. So I'm probably going to go with foraging since they're elementals. So they are skimming. Maybe they're doing like placer mining or something weird like that. Yeah, they might be scouting for veins, prospecting, and placer mining. I like that. And then we should roll like, hey, is there going to be a settlement there? There's a chance there is a settlement there. We rolled a run the marches. It is monsters. Monstrous. Makes sense. All right. So, well, these guys are roaming elementals, so they are not probably the most likely people to be there. We do know that that it is monster occupied, and we can probably find out a little bit more. We're gonna find out good because we have a pretty good high confidence information about this. So let's I guess we write down around. So we have occupied. I'm gonna put down here that this is like 90% accuracy. They are prospecting and placer mining. Like panning for gold, kind of. That's really placer mining. Placer mining can mean multiple things, but most people know it as panning for gold. Yeah, let's find out what monsters are potentially occupying here. I like that. Ooh, ooh. What? Again. Aberrations. Alright, there's some sort of aberration there. Yeah, I think it's well enough to be like, random hunters and trappers probably don't know what these creatures are. Can't imagine that their information would be. But they may, if they've encountered the Pecs, they might know of them or might be able to speak to them, because I think the Pecs can probably speak a language, can't they? They can. They can indeed. They can be common and Terran. Because Infinite Staircase come out before or after 2024? I can't remember in the 2024 changes. They changed the elemental languages. So it used to be, I can't remember if it used to be Primordial and they split it into the 4, or it was the 4 and they've combined them into Primordial. I think it used to be 1 and they've split it back out. Maybe. It used to be Primordial was like all elementals spoke. Instead, they've broken them down into their elementally associated languages like Terran, or Ignis is the fire one. That's one of my characters can speak Ignis. I forget what the water ones are. Okay. Do they know of any other creatures? I think that's pretty unlikely. Doesn't matter. The answer is yes. All right, let's get another direction. Time it's 3. You know what? Let's take a look. All right, so again, our starting position is right here. So 1, 2, 3 could be something back this way. So 1 or 2 slots would make the most sense. So something we bypassed already and did not come across. But could go all the way into Green Lake. So we've actually already, again, if it was something down here, our girl Gertrude would know about this, but she doesn't. So I think that we'll just keep that, because this is a pretty popular area. She's from pretty close to here. She would definitely know if there was a powerful spellcaster down here. Which she does know that there are some powerful spellcasters. And that's about to come up. So I think either 1 or 2. Or 0. I'll give him 0 as well. Like, maybe we're super close to somebody. I think that's extremely unlikely, but tell you what, I'll roll a... What do I do? I'm going to roll a D8. How about that? If I roll a D8 on a 1 or 2, it will be in the area that we're in the hex we're in. And then 3 will be for the next one over, and the last 3 for the furthest hex. Sure. I'm sure that probably didn't make sense when I was saying it out loud, but I know what I mean. And then I roll a 2. All right, well, there was a 2 in 8 chance. There's a quarter chance that it was there. They're like, oh. Also, there might just be something nearby. All right. So, let's, we're in the marches, so it could be anything. 15. Ooh, it's a no trespassing area. Ooh, not great for us. Alright, so we know that there's a no trespassing area right here. So somewhere in the area that we're in, somewhere in this area, there is a no trespassing area. I'm heavily inclined to think that it might be fiend related for some specific reason. That would help explain all the fiends that have been around. So I think that that is potentially the case. Alright, so there's a no trespassing zone here, so let's go ahead and add that to our map. This for no trespassing zone, what do I usually... Now I'm trying to remember. I don't have to remember. I could just look it up. Keyhole. Right, it's the lock. Our no trespassing area. Excellent. So let's get an APL. We know it's going to be something through 5 through 10. 5, 6, 7. APL 07. So somehow we have missed. It's going to be APL 07. An age for it. I think that means it's... Reset. I feel like we're spending a little bit too much time doing this, so I'm just going to try to... I'm not going to try to write out stuff as much. Okay, well. Ooh, you know what? I rolled for that. I... Been like, oh... That would make it a celestial, which would be ideal. But question we really need to ask is, like, is it fiend related? And I think that that is extremely likely because we already came across some fiend issues here. So they get a +5 to this. Is it fiendish? Sure is. All right, so it's fiend. Well, that's not good for us. That's less good. I feel like certainly somebody like Gertrude, who is trained in religion and arcana, is going to be pretty familiar with how fiends do stuff and why it might be a bad idea to go ask them for it, because you're going to have to give them some sort of terrible, terrible bargain in exchange for it, most likely. All right, it is fiends. Get the rest of this down real quick. Wheel out of here. And 2d6, roll and combine. 6 and 2. Love it. Alright, so 6 and 2 would be some sort of neutral monster land. That makes sense, there's fiends here. And wild things to mean. Okay. Wild thing. Interesting. I like it. So there is... Oh, what is it? 6? Or D10. Sorry. Only D10. 9. Alright, so count. So we'll say a fiendish count. So this is a bit of fiend nobility who rules over this one area. So technically, we're probably in this guy's actual area. So that's not great for us. And then, traveler. Helps. That's the right thing. Is indeed. Well, boop. Here we go. 3 and 2. Okay, so there's a chance of some sort of fiendish retinue might be coming through, as well as all sorts of people who are kind of like on the outside. I think for this we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we're gonna roll 2d6 and just repeat for the ones we can't. So that's 4 and 6. I think it's gonna put us right at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. So bandits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 and 6 chance that there's going to be you might encounter bandits and vagrants in this area. Good to know. A lot of desperate people. Guess what our retainers are right now? That's what we would call very desperate people. Excellent. Let's put them down on the map. So a 3 in 6 chance to encounter bandits and vagrants in that area. And because it's close, they should be able to give us the direct area. Again, this is sort of like confidence of this information is about 90%. There should probably, is it occupied? Almost assuredly, and almost assuredly occupied. Well, it's going to be occupied by... Yeah, probably going to be occupied by monsters, but maybe not. Yeah, and I think it's easy to say that it's probably going to be occupied by Thetans. All right. Well, we may have done a little oopsie by killing people here. That might have been actually a really bad thing that we did. Hey, that's what ignorance will get you. Opportunistic ignorance. So we came in here, ran through here, and killed some people, and that was a whoopsie, maybe. May have made a quite powerful enemy by doing that. If they learn who we were. Which they may or may not. Alright, well. We have occupied. There's no sense rolling for that. This is a fiend accounts domain, so... let's go ahead and do then domain. Alright. We'll say it's recently established. This is a new thing that's happened. So recent can mean a lot of things. I think we've talked about this before, but recent usually means it's like most people who are alive were alive when this happened. So most people have a pretty good knowledge that this thing exists, this area. But this person is in this area, so we can kind of pick and choose where we want to go. We could just drop it down in the middle if we wanted to. And this is a small thing, so we've got 19 technical places it could be. So let's roll d20. 11, that's going to put us pretty close to the middle. Or sorry, a little past the middle. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So technically, we should have passed through this hex. But, you know, we didn't. That's the joy of doing this hex crawling the way that we're doing it, is that we don't actually know that information, because we didn't stop to look around for that. We didn't confirm that there was or was not a place there. So, well, what we're going to do is we're going to take this information over here. We have it on good, very good authority that this person is here. And that going there is a bad idea. Especially, like, you could go to the Count's court. But I don't think that will do well, since you said you killed fiends here, so high likelihood that you killed his envoys or his foot soldiers or servants or whatever the hell. Try to stay wide berth from them. They're newer in the area, but powerful fiends, but can be reasoned with potentially. Do they know of anything else? I think that's also extremely unlikely. All right, sure. We can keep going. I was expecting us to get so many yeses. 1. Okay, 1 helps us actually quite a bit. 1, 2. All right. This would be something over here. We know that there's something over there. We can just roll a d20 for it. And we rolled a 16. Ooh, it's a treasure rumor. Very interesting. That means that maybe they have an idea about some object that maybe resurrects someplace, or like a fountain of immortality. I mean, probably not immortality, but fountain of youth kind of situation, or something like that, or like a like the Blarney Stone for luck, but like some sort of plinth or something that you set it upon. Very Aslan coded. Revive somebody. Some sort of like a ley line of power or whatever. We do have that kind of going over there. All right, so there's a treasure room here. We don't need to know too much about this because I don't think that we'll probably do that because that's usually a dungeon delve, and our 2 retainer NPCs are not going to be able to handle anywhere close to that kind of level. So if they have to cut through enemies to get there, not going to be in them. Let's find a theme for it. 2, which is good for us. 3, so that's going to be construct. Interesting. Okay, so it's a construct. Let's go ahead and get our thing. So this is what we're using down here. So this has got another treasure room down here. Treasure roomer. APL something. We have a 90% confidence on this. On the information. And we know that it's a construct theme. And we need an age. How old is this thing? Also recent. Interesting. Recent. Sure. We can that. 7. 5, 6, 7. A reliquary. That makes sense. And they're going to tell us this. What kind of status do they think it is? 5. Hard to reach. Now let's go ahead and put our information down here. The hard to reach reliquary. That's the reason why nobody's kind of messed around with it. Any other things that we need to know about it? Yeah, we could go ahead and do the occupation. I'm sure somebody knows about it. Fun. Yeah, okay. Monster, occupied. Interesting. We haven't really come up unless we have some idea about what the item is. I don't really have a good idea for this, so let's pull up solo dark tables. I'll switch you over to our view real quick so you guys can see the same thing I'm looking at. There we go. 1367, see if we can get some inspiration. Illuminate, like that. Off to a good start. Illuminate a secret. Okay. So illuminate some sort of secret. Gotcha. Nervously moving things. All right. So because I don't know what that's going to be, I'm going to put down here just a secret, and that's somehow supposed to be potentially useful for resurrection. So construct reliquary to me means that maybe it's like a, could be like a, makes me want to do like a maze runner thing, like it's a clockwork maze that keeps like moving around, like it's really difficult to get through, or as some other kind of form of strange obstacles or something within it, or maybe that could be just a straight up puzzle dungeon, which if you watch the channel you know how I feel about puzzles, which is I don't really like them in D&D. Talked about that many times before, but 8 APL 08, so definitely beyond our kin. But good to know. Because in my way, puzzles do the exact opposite of sort of like a normal bell curve, where you flip it upside down and you're more likely that one of the two extremes happens. Either somebody knows the puzzle or riddle or whatever it is and they solve it immediately, and you're like, oh, well, that thing that I thought was going to take like 20 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever at the table took like 30 seconds. And that's not super helpful and not super fun or challenging for anybody. Or it's the other end where it's like nobody knows the answer to the puzzle, and you just kind of watch the players kind of flounder on it for a while when it seems super obvious to you because you have all the information that they can't figure out the puzzle. And then you end up just kind of having to like have them make rolls and give them hints, and then they kind of stumble upon it. And it doesn't really feel like for anybody at the table like they really earned that most of the time. But that's generally why I avoid doing things like puzzles and that, because I feel like it doesn't. It's a very sort of like classical trope in media, but in play is not particularly fun. Where it does feel like the end of Bilbo and Gollum's interaction when it'd be like they're having their riddle off and he's just like, what's in my pocket? And like, that's not a riddle, just a guess. Kind of situation. Be like, oh, well, that's not fulfilling. Like if you were Gollum and you were the PC, you'd be like, well, I don't know what's in your pocket, man. How would I know that? All right, so these are the things they gave us. I'm not going to roll again. I think that 3 is more than enough. They give us some leads, so I feel like they gave us some pretty good leads. This group of Wandering Pecks is probably the best lead. Going to the Fiend Court after killing him, while he's probably powerful enough to do something for us. Or her, whoever the Fiend is, or whatever. Would be powerful enough to do something about it. Maybe kill some of their people, so probably not interested. That's probably good for us. And hard to reach, high APL, we're like level 1, not even full PCs. 2 of us, not going to be able to do that. That's very much beyond our ken. But they did give us good leads, and we are pretty confident that they know what they're talking about. So we're going to have to give them something. And I thought about that. We have a few different things that we could give them. I think the first thing they're going to try to offer is the Mythalar bracelet. Because it's like, they gave us good information, like good quality information. First off, kind of like takes it off and like holds it out. Well, I have this beautiful item. And it gives you the ability to be incredibly strong and fast and athletic. It has a few charges. And weaved by magic. I think you've done us good service here, Simon. So why don't you have this? Now I need to look up Mythalar bracelet. Okay, it is a common item. This is something that has not really come up in the campaign yet, but would maybe have come up for the first time. I mean, ugh. Magic, huh? Kind of like reaches out to the guy, then like pulls his hand back. Magic. So is it? Not gonna make you haven't been sick, have you? I'm just trying to voice this off on me. No. Just low magic. It's low magic. Yeah, alright. I'll take it. Pleasure doing business. Yeah. So, they will trade this Mythalar bracelet. We'll go ahead and delete this from the guy's inventory. Which sucks, but like kind of in the grand scheme of things, you know, like 50 to 100 gold, so... Yeah. In true D&D numbers, that's not important. Though we don't have the most amount of gold. More useful for us to have gold. So, they're going to tell us about a few different spots. If I can find... There we go. So let's go down to session 13. What do they tell us about? They tell us about a group of pecks. southwest. They told us about the count nearby. And they told us about a construct quarry in the northeast. In payment, Christoph parts with his Mythalar bracelet. So with that, the group is gonna sit down. They have their meal, talk some talk. Gertrude is still pondering about something. She's not much of a conversationalist anyways. She is just kind of pondering. She picks up like a stick and finds like some clear patch of ground and like starts to like take a stick and try to like spatially map out where they are and where they might need to go. So she's like, okay, we're here. English count be in a day's not great. Southwest. Okay, so she's like, we're here. Okay. Heck. Then she draws another circle to kind of east southeast. It is further away than any of the other circles. That's sort of at the point, kind of like squatted over it, looking at it, like a shawl thing wrapped around there against the wind. Kristoff kind of comes up. Yeah, you find something? He starts to explain like the different circles. Yeah, okay. Reliquary, Hex. Reliquary is going to be easily a no-go. Alright. The Hex, maybe our best bet, because certainly we're not going to that Fiendish count. You know, I don't know a lot, but I've always heard you don't mess with fiends. They're like the Fae. You don't make pacts with them. Bad idea. But it's never worth the price they're gonna ask. There is one more place we could try, but it is further than do not have. True. We don't have a lot of time. Okay. What is it? There is a druid, powerful caster. If we hadn't taken a different route, probably the more simple route where we were trying to get to following, we would have passed through his dominion. On the eastern shore of lake. name is Druid. Druid Marks. Let's give him our buddy an intelligence check to see if he knows who the heck Druid. I ain't never heard of that guy. Great. Yes, perfect. She nods her head. Where is he? Yeah, oh, he's right there. I was right on it. Yeah, we'll go ahead and throw. Character sheet. Yep. Yeah, that Britain go what? For a village that he is. It is on the borders of the Furstentum and Registros and it is the end of the Northwest Crown Road. Druid Marks is well known. He is also from these borderlands. It would be worth meeting with him. Certainly, he is a potent enough caster that I believe he could resolve Reed's. Great. That sounds great. So that's what we'll do in the morning. The only issue is potentially the distance. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where we need to get to. So 5 days. So assuming that everything goes swimmingly, they should have plenty of time to get there. Plus, however long it might take to do said ritual and or after convincing Druid Marks to help them. This was not pre-planned. It's just something we did when we were building it up, and I was like, oh, there is literally a druid just actually not very far. It's like, of all the places that we could have died, you know, could be worse places. Could be in worse situations. So there, we have potential options. Pecks are close. And I don't know. Pecks, I like the Peck, I feel like, as a singular group. It's a moose situation. Instead of mooses, it's just mooses, the singular and the plural. Group of Peck that are nearby. But I gotta be able to talk to them, which is maybe dicey. Convince them to help you. They are also technically a wandering monster, so they might not even be there anymore. Remember that 90% confidence is, there's still a 10% chance, there's a 1 in 10 chance that information is either incorrect or is no longer correct. So you could get there and be like, pieces of that information is different. Meaning it's not Peck there, it's something else. It could be some sort of like aberrations or like Zorn or something like that. They might present kind of like Peck, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe they are of not a helpful nature. We could have lots of things that are not correct there. Or, but the thing is like, girl Gertrude, that guy's a druid. She's part of the druidic order. She knows he's in charge of that place. He's in charge of the place. He's not going to be anywhere else, presumably. He should be there. It might also be dangerous. Head back. You may be more likely to encounter people searching. But it is likely they are searching for one who is alive. Yeah, well, I guess that could be a feather in our cap, but probably at this point people have started to know that we're with him. So if they recognize us, and we're carrying around a reed-shaped bundle, I think people will be smart enough to put 2 and 2 together. Do you have a better plan? Not at all. Not in the slightest. That is not my area of expertise. Gertrude, you're the thinker. I trust in your ability. You know the logistics. You know that. So she probably doesn't know that it takes them. This is always like a good guesstimation, but she's like, it shouldn't take us 10 days to get there. Like, even if her guess was way off, it's like, well, we're not trying to get like way the heck over here. So she's like, even if we went through rough, even if we got lost a little bit, once we get onto Green Lake proper, if we just kind of keep going east, we're gonna hit the east bank. And as soon as we find anybody to talk to, they're gonna be able to point us to the Crown Road. As soon as we get back across the border. So, not really an issue. I think that is the agreement. They hunker down for the night and will attempt to lead a long rest. Now, that means there's 2 watches now. Usually I try to do, when I roll for an encounter in camp, it's usually per PC that's there, or per acting character, like would be in the combat. So that's why we used to do 3 watches. Now we're only doing 2. Who do we want to go first? We already said the sun's down and they had dusk. They had already had all this conversation, so I think Kristoff with better night vision will be going first. And his watch passes peacefully. So does Gertrude's. So they will complete a long rest. Yeah, unfortunately, like, Reed really the only person who got hurt there. So we should be good on everything. Giving them a little once-over on character sheets, but I don't think they should have anything. So let's go ahead down here. We're gonna be like, okay, gonna fit for me right now. All right. After the discussion of logistics, and I figured that they were probably going to. They determine head for. Gosh, now I can't think of the. Of course, I moved it away. And Pondweed Village. Sorry, it's gonna take too much out of me to try to pronounce that every single time. It's a very long name. So it's gonna be Pondweed, I think. Here we go. All right. They settle in for the night. Passes uneventfully. All right. You know, this took longer than I thought it was going to. I thought they would know maybe one place. Sure. Decide instead of determine. Why not? All right. So that's going to bring us to bring motherfucker order. Not what I'm trying to do. So everybody's. So we could have set off at night, and gotten like 1 hex, but it's not probably gonna be. So Spring Mother 45. And what we should do is figure out a little bit of weather. So we were on number 2. We need a D8. Roll that real quick. 2. These are going to move to the right, which is going to move us straight from 02 to 03. Excellent. All right, let's go up. we reached the end of the week. Sorry, I can just pop this back over. So, spring 45, seasonably cold as they get up in the morning. So the wind has come through, that sort of low pressure front has moved in, and wind has ceased, and the temperature, mercury has dropped. And now we're getting some light mixed precip, a little bit of slurry. Nice and cold. This is day 01 of 10. Gentle repose. And we reset our stamina meter to 0. And everybody's good there. So, the group is ready to travel. Morning has come. They speak again with the Simon and ask them, hey, what are you guys going to do? I think they're probably pretty cagey because they still don't know a ton about these guys. They got paid for something. They slept overnight together, so everything seemed okay. But again, like Kristoff and Gertrude clearly have not told them a lot, and they're like, well, you guys came in here, and you didn't know about the fiends and killed the fiends. So they kind of asked the group what they're going to do. Group half-orcs what they're going to do, and they're equally as cagey. It's like, oh, we'll probably see if we can find somebody to sell our stuff to, and after that we'll probably, once we find a new vendor, we'll head back out and we're hunting and trapping. But there's always this feeling like they seem very non-committal, or like they're being quite vague about the information. But they otherwise break on good terms, and our fellows will head out. Don't want that. Kristoff and Gertrude. And so they know which direction that they're going. So they're kind of going east, southeast, roughly. It's always hard with the hexes to try to give cardinal directions. But we'll do our best. They're going to head towards Pongweed. That is the status. So, just since we're going to be on this map, you guys should know that the area that we're looking for should be, I believe it's this hex. Double check that. Somewhere in this area. One up, one down, one across. Okay. One up, one down, one across. Okay, so this is the area that we're trying to get to. So about as far as it took us to get from White Birch, which did not actually take us all that long. So we know we're going to assume that this is sort of the area we're shooting. That's our target area to kind of hit the box. And I'm going to go ahead and give us a little bit extra over here. Extra hexes so we can over. There we go. And fill out what this hex kind of looks like. Three. Maybe not. Doot, 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 doot. All right. So that's the target area that we're heading for. Just a little bit so we can get everything kind of on screen at the same time. So there's where we are. There's where we're trying to get to. It'll be a bit of a clip. But we know we pretty much need to just kind of head southeast for the most part. Got a little bit east this way, go that way, so southeast would be kind of right in this area. All right. Well, obviously we're not going to go up into the hills. So I think this is a good point. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll change up the music when I get back. I'm going to refill up my coffee, and we're going to start our adventuring and our countdown of days. Try to avoid as many encounters as we can, and we're just going to try to see if we can do something about Reed. Now, this will be important. Actually, would that have happened already? No. No. Sorry. There's an entire thing of notes that I have that we have not gotten to yet. Now, remember that we left off with Reed having some sort of entity approach him upon the space between spaces, that astral space area where his soul is kind of just anchored right now, just kind of stuck. Which can be actually a very dangerous place to be on the astral sea, but hey, nobody knows any better. That's fine. Because things might recognize you there, and you can't do anything about it. But I'm going to do this. The way I was going to do this is I was going to do this on every long rest that they take, basically over on their way to get there. They have 10 days. This will be day 1. At the end of day 1, one of these things will happen. There are 10 things on this list. We'll find out very quickly what's happening with Reed. And Reed will have the opportunity to manifest some of his own destiny. Not all completely in the hands of our two. So let's be honest, at this point, very loyal retainers. I mean, loyalty as in we can't go back to our old life, because if we go back to our old life, people will just kill us because we let our lord die. And we didn't do the things we were charged by the crown prince. But, you know, they're still here. They didn't just be like, well, that's that, and just be like, gotta make a new life now. They are still trying to get it done. They are still loyal. There's still a belief in Reed. So I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to refill up my coffee. We're going to come back. And then we're going to get Hex Crawl in. Ooh, boy. Love it. All right. Hang on. And we are back. All right, hanging out, guys. Let's jump over. Let's get some less somber music. I feel like we've been hanging out on this music here for a minute. Let's get this done. We need some acceptable travel music, I feel like. So we need some travel-y, escape, monster explore journey. I like that. We can do a biome. I mean, we're gonna mostly be in swamps and marshes, let's be honest. These. And we'll change our biome here, swamp and marsh, to probably gonna be forest, most of it. I like it up on. That sounds good. We'll take a Sundapple Trail, and we'll take a forest day. How about that? We'll take it. And we'll drop this back in. I want to swap things up just the right. Oh, there we go. Easy peasy. All right. So, looking back at our map, day has sprung, spring has sprung, and we are on our way. All right. So this is the area you're going to try to get to. We're going to get us some wilderness survival going on. Try to keep us on target. This is, we're trying to figure out, we have an idea, kind of like a dead reckoning idea of where we're trying to head to, but we don't really have a idea of necessity the trail between the start and the finish. So we don't know what that's going to look like, but we have an idea of where we're going to get to. But the dead reckoning can go real wrong for us. We're gonna do our best. Let's do a survival check. That's obviously going to be Kristoff, but the nice thing about having Gertrude is that she can give. You know what? I don't think she can really give the help action because she's not trained in survival, and that seems kind of like a cop out. But she can give a guidance, which I will allow her to get. Try to make sure that we get the right heading going. So, Kristoff gets a 13 plus a D4. We'll figure out what that is. All right, so he's going to get a +4 to it. What a DC. Ooh, that's very good for us. That's very good. That's a DC 11. Didn't even need it. We hit it. We're perfectly good. Yeah. We're going to zip out. We're head out that way. We've got a dead reckoning. We're on target. Things. Hey, how's it going, Gold? Your mouse died, Saints. Yes, I am doing a solo play campaign. Yes. We have a dead guy that we are trying to get resurrected and trying to figure out where he is. So we're gonna try to go get him alive again. Here we are. A little bit bombastic music, but let's go. So I think with that Red Reckoning, we can go where we think our best is. So we are on target. What is the closest route we can go? It's probably gonna be like straight. It's almost directly straight for it. Yeah. All right, so we're on pretty good dead reckoning. We're gonna go here. So when we do that, that means that we're gonna have a D4. Now we are doing this at advantage because we have some beast burden with us. We got our 2 donkeys with us. We have what are our donkeys' names? Alphonse and Apollonia and Rudolph. No, that's Full Metal Alchemist. I know that. There we go. Rudolph and Apollonia. Not great. 3's a high number to start out with. That's alright. It's okay. Everything's fine. We're probably not gonna die. Except for the person who's already died. Alright, so our meter goes up to 3. Not good. Come across any sort of nasty. We sure do. right out of the gates. Yes, out of everything that happened to him, he died to poison. Yes, yes. He got stabbed in the back by an imp. So while the piercing damage was bad, it's the poison damage that killed him. It is the poison damage that ended up taking Reed down. Alright, well, we're immediately off to some sort of random encounter. That's perfect for us. Things are already going so well. Great, great, great. 4. Perfect. That's going to put us right in natural BC 10 and 12, which I think might be dragon. More like dragon these nuts. Got him. Alright, that's my one. I'm not going to do it. No, it's elemental. Okay, we're good. We're elemental. Perfect. Alright, well, let's find us some nasty nasties. Here's what we need. We got 2 players. Sidekicks. Go for high. We're gonna get these settings. I'm not gonna use the 2024 ones because I don't want to kill these people right off the bat. So we're gonna use the 2014 rules. Go over here to our filters from Kobold Fight Club. And we're gonna go down here and we're gonna pick Elemental. Make me an encounter. Make it. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of methods are probably gonna be what we're gonna get down here. That's kind of our lowest level, guys. Methods. Magmin. I don't think, let's see if there's anything for native forest, but I highly doubt it. Mud methods. Okay. Deal with mud methods. That's really the only one that comes up. Why do you... That's a deadly encounter. That's not what I asked for. Really gotta be careful. We're gonna go with this. Alright, so 2 is immediately a deadly encounter for us. So that means that, hey, pretty much the only thing we can encounter down here is mud method, which I'm happy with. Mud method, bleh. Pretty easy to deal with. I don't know whether to be amused, surprised, or disappointed. I was mainly surprised with his death to poison. Hey, invisible imp. He didn't know it was there. He tried to move away, got the opportunity attack. Guy goes down. There was nothing he could have done about that. He failed his perception check. Even figure out it was there. It was invisible. Alright, Death Burst. Need to keep an eye out for that. Alright, let's get a... So... You know what? This is good music for that. So we're going to leave this music right now. I like that. I think that sounds beautifully useful. And they're going to counter a wild mud method. So that's probably going to go into a combat. Methods are pretty belligerent. I feel like that's how I always consider them. They're really belligerent. Like, they're more likely to get into fights than a lot of other creatures. So I'm not that worried about trying to talk to this creature, especially when it blows up and kills people. It has initiative 11, so it's going to be on 11. And it has, dutifully, I just use the passive initiative for that, and then let my players roll around it. So he's got an AC of 11 and HP 13. We are mud method. And let's get some initiative for our friend. All right, first off, Christoph coming out the gates. All right, with a 10, he's going afterwards. Gertrude. Great. Yeah, things are going well. All right, so it's going to be Christoph, then Gertrude. I highly doubt that the method. Let's see if they have stealth in their block. I don't think they do. Oh, they do. So this thing could be stalking towards them. So I'll go ahead and give it a stealth check against their passive perception to see if it can kind of sneak up on them and get them. It gets +3 to its stealth check. It needs to beat an 18 for Kristoff, which is good. We don't have any obscurement anymore. We don't have any fog or anything like that today. And no high winds to muffle the sound. We've only got a little bit of light precipitation. Which doesn't matter when you roll that low anyways. That would only be a 10, and everybody can see a 10. So, thing kind of comes out. How far away is it? We'll do... Yeah, they're in the wooded area. So 1 through 3, it's going to be 30 feet away, 60 feet, 90 feet. 60 feet away. So it's going to pop up about 60 feet away. They pick it up. They can see it in between sort of this light, drizzly, frozen mixed precip. It's quite cold. In this cold snap in spring with this low pressure weather that's coming through. It comes through. It gets to go first. Well, it is far away. I don't think it has any sort of ranged thing. It's got mud breath. Within 15 feet. It can't even get within 15. What's its speed? Oh, it's only 20. So it's gonna fly towards them. They're a little dumb. So I'm gonna be... Let's just give them a check. Let's set a DC for this scene. Which is gonna be low. So it's a DC 10. See whether this thing is smart enough to, like, take some cover behind the trees. It's not. Great. So we said it was starting 60 feet, so it's still 20 feet away. It's gonna be 20 feet out. If I click on the right tab. This guy is 20 feet out, and we'll set a little DC for us. Okay. Hold that so I remember it there. That makes it Kristoff's turn. Hey. Also, a question for the GM. How would you convert cleric domain spells from Pathfinder 2E into D&D campaign? A lot of Pathfinder spells have a pretty easy one-to-one conversion. They usually have a D&D closeness to them. And off the top of my head, that's going to be hard to do. There are plenty of guides to be able to figure out how to do that, though, online. So that would be my best guess if you have... Coder, if you have spells that there isn't a one-to-one correlation to, or take something that is roughly the same amount of power or same kind of flavor and try to figure it out that way, there will be... I'm sure there has to be conversion guides out there by now. There simply must. There will be conversion guides for how to adjust things like the saving throws if you need to do it. You're probably not. So really it's just going to be like damage. Probably is most of what you're looking for, or like how do you change some of the conditions, because Pathfinder has a lot more conditions. Last time you were talking about demons, does that count? Demons are fiends as well. They are indeed fiends. So, and we found out that there's a fiendish count nearby, so that should tell us. All right, Kristoff. This thing's still kind of far away. He can close on it, though. So he's going to pull weapon, item interaction, get the shield out, kind of put down the litter that he's with, grab his shield, charge over there, and make a couple of attacks. He is not going to have any issues getting there. Going to run up there and try to give it a little smacky smack. He gets 2 attacks with his long sword. Both of those are going to hit. Easily done. This thing's toast. He easily cuts this thing down. Unfortunately, he cuts it down, and then this thing gonna go kaboomy. Because that's what they do. He could have shot at it, but he's not a smart guy. He doesn't know anything about methods. So, Death Burst. When it dies, Dexterity save 11. Each creature in a 5-foot emanation. That is just gonna be Kristoff. Target has the restrained condition until the end of it. Oh! It doesn't even do damage to you. Oh, it just makes you goopy with mud. Unimportant. Unimportant. If there were other creatures, probably more important, but for now, unimportant. So, take that off. All right. Combat over. Probably could have done two pretty easily. It helps that we hit with both. But yeah, in the damage department, they're not doing too much, are they? Yeah. These are one of these creatures one of the creatures in 5.5 that did not get a weird damage glow up like our imp did a little bit. Even though our imp didn't get that much more damage. So, easy peasy. Aquin, that is the water tongue. All right, so it goes. Kristoff gets that face full of mud. Okay. Oh, I think I'm all right. So they take no damage, and combat is easily over. That is fine with me. So we encounter a wild mephit, which we just put that. Kristoff. Handily? Yeah, handily dispatches. And they continue on. I guess we could put say as a sub bullet. All right, that was easy enough. Didn't take any damage, which is nice. And we didn't use any resources, which is also nice. So we were going to, if we follow. So I think we're gonna go here. Definitely want to give this area a wide berth now that we know that there is a fiendish lord there. Gonna avoid that area, I think. We're going to go into a little bit more forested area over here, and roll another D4. We get to do this at technically a disadvantage because we want the lower number. Ooh, you love to see a 1. I love to see a 1. So good for us. It goes up to 4. More importantly, do we have any sort of encounter? I forgot to roll for a point of interest in the last one. Oh, there was a point of interest in the last one. Good to know. Good to know. All right. So, hold on. Let's figure out what the point of interest is first. We're in the borderlands, so we should do this. That's not true. That's not true now, actually. Because now we know that this is a fiendish domain. Well, there's no trespassing land. That's fine. That's fine. Yes. Alright. So it is D20. Used by my own system. Oh, roll twice and combine. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Alright, well, we can't use another 12. Alright, so 13 is going to be ruins. And some sort of settlement. Ruins of what? Sorry, it's a D12. Right? Over D10. It doesn't matter. Ruins of 9. Got a complex one. Alright, so ruins of some sort of signage. And a little village. Well, we could talk to people in this area, but I think that's the important thing that we're focused on right now. So here, something we also did not see earlier is that, hey, there is a village, little hamlet here, and there is also a little info sign here. Oh, that's not correct. Sorry, technically it's a ruins. There's a hamlet. Ruins of info signage. Or some type of signage. We don't really need to know what it is. Let's go ahead, but just for curiosity's sake, we probably just passed through that. We probably completely avoided it, honestly, just to get around it, because not interesting for it. Those people probably aren't going to be able to give us a lot of information about stuff that's around. Not really worth our time. APL 03, so if things did go poorly, it would be bad for us. So, I guess we could do a population while we're at it. Already rolling the dice. Alright, so 4, 0, 0. Alright, well, it gotta be more than 50. Alright, 250. It helps if I put the ball down here. There we go. Now it's not clouding up everything. So we said we're going to move this way, unfortunately, and in doing so, we are going to come across another encounter. you summoned the campaign on you, another demon. However, those words growing slowly. Yeah, you were asking his focus about the cleric conversion. Yeah, focus spells are different than normal spells. Well, they already get those subdomain. Like in DnD 5e and 5.5, they get the subdomain spell list where they get the extra spells anyways. And a ton of like backgrounds and stuff give you like free uses of those spells, like once per day usually, or a proficiency bonus per day. So you could do something like that. That's pretty easy to manipulate if you want to do that. Like, I think a good place to look would be like the rune crafter background in D&D 5. I think that's 5e background. Yeah, rune crafter background, and which gives you the rune carver feat, or no, maybe that is a 2024 background. And that gives you a list of things that as you level up, you get more of those spells, and you're able to use one of them, I think, once per day or once per proficiency bonus per day, something like that. I know one of my characters has that. That's the only reason that I know it off the top of my head that much. So you could look at something like that, and that might help you convert that stuff over. We move into this area, and what do we find? Another encounter. What kind of encounter? I don't know. What kind of nasties we encountering? Oop. I think that is just another elemental. Dare I say it? More mud methods? Oh no. You know what? I'm gonna do like an 80-20. 80. So another one mud method is what we encounter. Get a DC for that. DC 16. Excellent. So we're gonna encounter just another singular mud method. Hey, we could be. We're gonna just cut this down here. And I'll give us a little bit of extra room down there. So up. And we can knock that off. Up a little bit. And no. Alright, so we don't know if Kristoff handily dispatches it, but we do know it has these 16 for this scene. And we're going to drop in. We know that this thing's going to have 11 AC. It's going to have a... Effort. It's going to have 11 AC and 13... Numbers a little bit more. And roll a little initiative for our chuckleheads. Dynamite, guys. Just really knocking it out of the world with initiatives. Love it. Absolutely love it. We're doing such a good job. Everybody's doing so good. Alright, well, at least this time Gertrude goes first. And Kristoff, go. And, you know, let's do the same kind of thing we did for our distance. Alright, this time they're going to start within 60 feet. So they have the same issue there. This is going to be like a 1-for-1 repeat of what's going to happen, except Gertrude gets the opportunity to go first. This thing, is it smart enough to hide? Probably not. Oh, it is. No, it's not, because the DC is 16 and it has a -1 intelligence. So no, it's not smart enough to hide. It's 20 feet away. It's Gertrude's turn. She is going to use her Radiant Flame ability. Character sheet. She's going to use her Radiant Flame ability over here, which gives her this nice +5 2d6 Radiant. You can try to take a little shot at it. Miss terribly. Yeah, that's it. Thing's not really going to be close enough. You know what? Kristoff gets an opportunity to go, so she will move up and use the help action to give him advantage on his first attack. Then that gives Kristoff the ability to move up, so he'll take his first attack with advantage. That will definitely hit. And his second attack will also hit. 7. I think that's going to be enough to do it, though, right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11, no, they have 13, correct? Or do I have their AC in? Alright, so it's still around. It's got 2 HP. We didn't quite get it down in one round. It's right up on them. So it's up to its chance. It needs to make a little morale check, which it's going to succeed at, because its morale is going to be low, but it's a 7. Doing a nice little roll under. You got to roll your charisma score or lower on a d20 to see if you stay in the fight. 3 is lower than 7. So it's going to stick in the fight, and it's going to do a slam attack, probably against the one that hurt him the most. So he'll do a little +3. That's going to hit Kristoff. Yeah, right on the money. What does it do? A D4? D6 +1. So it whacks into him with a bunch of mud. It does 2 points of damage to Kristoff. Bring him down to 12. That's okay. And then it'll be Gertrude's turn. She's going to try to whack this thing with her staff. She will miss, but she'll use the help action for Kristoff, who's definitely going to take this thing down. Yep, 13 on the die. There's no way he can't do enough damage to kill this thing. They dispatch a second method. Didn't even really think it was worth putting on the combat music. It's going to be short combats when we're so low level. Very, very, very easy. Yeah, it would be good to intimidate the Muffets. They're so dumb, though. They're so dumb. But knowing Kristoff, he'll fuck that up, too. Yeah, probably. You have a villain now that is based on a swarm that walks for the solo campaign, because it would be really Oh, interesting. Oh, well, thank you. I'm proud to be a sense of inspiration. Yeah. Just kind of floats around. That's very fun. Sentient control swarms of insects and creatures are very hard to kill. Nice. Creates clones of itself, potentially create famine and cause. Yeah, it feels like a nice personification of like pestilence as a monster. Very cool. I like that. All right, well, that's another down. Let's keep on. Well, we probably don't want to go in the hill area. That'll slow us down a little bit. So we're gonna head east, avoid that, and we'll slip into our boat if we need to. So we still will get our 1d4 at disadvantage because we want those low numbers. Ooh, and we get another one. You love to see it. There we go. I have too many tabs open. That's fine. Way too many tabs open. That's okay. Alright, so we go through another one. As we move into this new area, you know what? I forgot to check for a point of interest again. Okay, no random encounter. So, for the previous area, was there a point of interest? No. Your point of interest here. No. Okay. For those, we have to roll a 1, 2, or 3 on a d20. We're not actively looking. So we don't know anything's there. So, with that in mind, we're going to keep moving. But now that we're here, we should be able to see what's in these two. Roll 2d6 real quick. 7, that's going to be more swamp. And 8, that's also going to be more swamp. We'll grab these guys. Drop in little swampy swamps. Boop, boop. Now that we're close enough that we can actually see what's in that domain. And at this point, we will probably kind of want to head almost directly. Yeah, absolutely direct. We're more familiar with the south route, so let's stick close here. We'll move to here. So, pick a 2. And I'm just going to keep clicking on the weather hex. I don't know why that is. Alright, so we go up to 7. D12? 3? Remember, we only have some sort of encounter on a 1 or a 12 on the D12. 1, generally going to be a combat encounter, some sort of creature encounter. 12 is generally not going to be a combat encounter, and generally, usually not a creature encounter. Usually it's something more like wilderness dressing. You're going to find an interesting sight or something that might be helpful, might be detrimental, might be like a hazard or obstacle or something like that. We'll need to figure out how to get past. But when you roll anything in the middle, nothing. And do we find some sort of thing here? We have fully passed into the next zone. So, no. Yep. We're in the area where now it's going to have to be, we're going to have to roll a 1. We're only rolling higher than that because of what we found out about the big hex. I can go into it. I'm talking about layers of hex mapping. That's not important for you guys to know. That's only of marginal importance for me. I almost did it. All right. So, nothing doing here. Let's find out what these 2 hexes are. 6. Ooh, a 12. Interesting. Okay, so that means that that's going to be a... I need to go back in and change this, but I haven't done that yet, so we're going to be consistent. So 12 is a mountain. Okay. And 7 is going to be more swamp. Oh, probably not going to go up the mountain. Go ahead and get paint for it. Mountain right here. And there's a nice little swamp right here. I could drop in and we could figure out where that river goes. There's likely to be a river that comes off of that mountain, but we're not going to mess with that right now because it's not going to be important to us and we have a boat, so it's not a huge issue for it. So we're going to move down into this hex right here and keep moving. D4, D4. Ooh, 2 4s. Not the best thing that could happen to us. Not the best thing in the world. Okay, over here. I keep looking back there. Fortunately, that puts us right up at 11, so it's getting late in the day. Kristoff's starting to feel pretty tired about what they're doing. Gertrude is still got a little left in her. They'll probably at least try to push 1 more. Pretty much how this thing goes is that this starts to become the DC once we hit their con save passive DCs, which these are. And then they'll have to start making active checks. So we got 1 more in us we don't have to make a check for. And then Kristoff we probably got 2 hexes at least, maybe a 3rd if we're lucky. So let's see if there is any random encounter here. No. Thing that we know about? No. Excellent. It says one Doom song, I strike fear in you because fear is universal. Yeah. For like the pestilence kind of monster. Yeah, very cool. I like that, just roaming around, just destroying things. Like a thoughtless horde. Can't be reasoned with. Maybe can't be killed. All right, so what's in our two little areas right here? We're in so much swampland right now. So much swamp. We're in definitely that sort of like boreal muskeg kind of area where there's just a whole bunch of like tamarack and pine and a bunch of gross water. What we're moving through. All right, let's see if what's gonna be in these guys. 4, 6. Ah, okay. So 6 be more the same, but a 9 is something slightly different. So we've got, this is definitely that, and then this is going to be actually heavy. Now, heavy forest is pretty difficult to traverse through. And I would say we've probably gotten to the point where if we're this close, we can probably see that mountain to ourselves. So that kind of gives us an idea. That's an area that we passed through previously. So it kind of gives us some landmark for us as we're moving around. But as far as we know, we're on track. We'll probably try to keep going here. We're already in the boat. Might as well stay in the boat. Donkeys are doing fine. So we'll move into this hex. D4. 1. Love to see a 1. All right. That means Gertrude's fine, but Kristoff is going to have to make a check against them. He has a +1 to his con save, which means he gets the 12. Which means he's just fine. Which means they'll get to go at least one more before anybody starts getting exhaustion. So they're making a good pass. No issues there. Not a 1. All right, so we're gonna move forward. Let's find out what's in those 2 hexes. Another 6, some more swamp. Oh, and a 3. So we'll revert that out. Kick that back out. I could let it stand. Look at the math. I don't feel how I want to do. It's 3 usually when I roll a 3. Oh, you know what? I know what to do with that. I'm being silly. Alright, so we'll do this the other one first. There's a marsh area. Because when you roll 3, 3 is usually some sort of wetland. Well, if you're already in a wetland biome, what is wetland in a wetland? The other type of wetland that I can show. It's going to be a marsh. So there's going to be an area where the trees kind of thin out. And it's more open, like reeds and grasses and sedges. We like that because that probably means we're getting closer to the water. Even though the open water can be bad for us. Found out. There's some undead under there. So I think we're gonna go down here. Yeah, we'll go down here. All right, now moment of truth. Find out what our DC is going to be. People are going to have to make saves here. Not great. It's going to kick us up to a 15. Means everybody needs to make a save, and we are not likely to pass that. There's a chance I would allow maybe for Gertrude to below her Divine Aid once a day to cast Bless, which would give us a bonus D4 to the save, but there's still a chance that we could have encounters, and it's our only real source of healing, so I don't really want to do that. In case we need the healing. Which, you know, if we get into a scrape, we'll probably need the healing. So, We're not going to use it. Everybody's going to make a check. All right. First off, DC 15. Need to roll a 14 or better. We do it. All right. The Keeper Gertrude. She needs to roll a 13 or better. She does. They are pushing the pedal to the metal. They are going. All right, so they are good. They move into this area. They're not tired at all. I mean, they're tired, but they're still pushing. They're not exhausted yet. And no encounter. They find a point of interest, though. We're in sort of like the wild, so it's going to be 20. 14. 14 is... Now I click on the wrong thing. 14 is, oh, some sort of conflict area they stumble across. Well, that's not great for us. That could be better. Alright, well, let's paint it up. Ooh. Damp. No, wetland squared, yeah. The wetlands, the wettest land. Or the landiest wet. Whichever. Alright, so we're going down here. There's a conflict area, which I like to do. Crossed field thing. We're gonna have an APL for that. Let's figure out the APL real quick. As they stumble across this area. 1. Okay, so potentially something they might even be able to deal with if they need to. Let's learn a little bit more about our... So we have a conflict area. Oh, my stupid head's in the way. Don't you hate it? Put it down the workspace so you guys can see it a little bit better. There we go. So we need our parties in conflict. We need some sort of cause, location. We don't really need too much of this because I think we need the location for sure and the conflict status. That'll give us a lot of information about whether this is something we're actively going to need to engage with or not. 1. 2. Okay. That's simple enough. All right, so it is... Oh, no, it is a battlefield, and the battle is happening right now. Good, good, good. Yeah, perfect. You love to see it. So we're going to say battlefield. Battle rages! So that's great for us. We're here. All right. So we need our parties in conflict. This we're kind of in the wilds right now, so we're gonna have to figure out what that. Yeah, so we'll figure out our 2 different parties, types of creatures that are in here. So 13. Okay. Oh, well, that's definitely construct. I'm gonna click on every wrong thing there is. All right, so this is going to be a monstrosity versus construct area. Let's notes now. All right, so remember, it's APL 1, so this has got to be pretty low thing. We've got a bone to pick with that area. The Boneland. All right, let's go ahead and go over here. Figure out what these guys might be real quick. I mean, technically, put that word out of here for right now. We need constructs. And we need velocity. And this would really be for like... Okay, so there's a bronze scout. I like that. Hmm. Maybe a bronze scout surrounded by a number of young Kruthic. I like that. I am okay with this. Surrounded by 6. That sounds right. It kind of puts like the power numbers out of the way. We don't know who the aggressor is here, but it is all right. Bronze scout, Kruthic in the area. It's easy enough to get. So let's go ahead and quick. Oh, not like that. Get some Kruthic real quick. You want a young Kruthic. Lovely looking things. They look so sweet. So precious. What a cute baby you have. And we've got a bronze scout. And click on that one so that way we can just. Also, what a cute baby you have. One's made of metal. The other one's made of chitin. All right. Easy enough. So these two things are like fighting with each other as the group kind of comes across it. They are, where are they at? They're like in the boats and stuff. And they've got their donkeys with them. They do know that the Kruthic, I guess this is more of a Gertrude question. Being trained in nature and arcana. And she can give herself a little bump. She'll take 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Technically, we could roll a DC above that, but probably unlikely. We sure didn't. That's a DC 16, and that sounds like a good DC for this thing. Fighting young Kruthic is. So she sees it. She kind of understands a little bit about that. Yeah, is that a freaking xenomorph and a bronze dinosaur? Yeah, kind of. Fighting in this wetland area. So let's get some suitable fighting music. How about that? No. You stop. Stop right now. Okay, so we're going to clear that. We're going to set our mood, or maybe our action, to skirmish and brawl. What is just monster encounter? These seems good. I kind of like this one. We are in a sort of like a moorish kind of place. I also like fire dance. I've used times before. Hmm. Yeah, let's see if one of these will work. Okay, hands. Yeah, I like this one. Go with this one. This is a go-to, pretty regular one. Fighting. We'll keep that going. And that is the scene we come across. Let's see how far out are we. Now, this is. We'll check. Yeah. So we are in a marsh area, so we have even further visibility than usual. So we'll take all our numbers and kind of double them up. So how far? Not dead. Good one. Okay. So We're like 180 feet out, so it's like we could probably just go around this thing really quickly. But here's the thing. And I think Gertrude definitely knows this. Is like, look, if these pyrrhic creatures kill that bronze scout, there's no way they're not going to come definitely eat at least one of our donkeys before we get away. The bronze scout, she's knowledgeable. She knows that that's an artificed creature. Like, that is not a thing that just happens on nature. And also, because it's a construct, doesn't need to eat. So depending on why these things are fighting, that could be good or not. Don't know. But also, sometimes easier to fight one creature rather than a whole bunch of creatures. You know, I don't know what the range on her radiant flame is. And she's based off of what, like a light? All right, so that's range 60 foot. I figured that was probably what it was, so I just wanted to make sure. And let's get a short bow. The long range for the short bow is 320. Probably definitely don't want to get any closer. We're about 180 feet out, so do they want to engage with this? The range is pretty radiant. So they kind of look at each other like, what do you want to do? Gertrude kind of tells him, is like, look, killing the pyrrhic, if those things kill the pyrrhic, those things are definitely going to come. If they're hungry and that's why they were attacking it, they're definitely going to come eat us. And maybe eat one of our donkeys, which is not good. If it's the bronze scout, the clockwork creature, no idea what it's doing or why they're having this fight. Kind of assumes that the pyrrhic attacked it, but really don't know. Maybe the scout is the aggressor. And we're not going to get any extra information about that. So that's the understanding, is like, do we get involved in this fight? So here's what's going to happen. I think they're like, Gertrude, why don't you row us and try to keep pulling, and while you do that, we'll move at like half speed, but maybe I'll take some pot shots at these things. They're very far away, but hey, there's no trees in the way, so there's a chance I might land some shots. So they're going to move very slowly. These two creatures are going to fight each other. These two different types of creatures are going to fight each other. We said that they're about 180 feet away. I think if we spend enough time to get 180 away, which is I'm going to say that they're going to be going like 30 around, because both of them are not pulling the oars. That's just their normal movement, to kind of like that one person's dash movement, try to pull this canoe, rowboat, whatever. It's not important. It's a small boat across the marsh. Or, you know what? I'd let her. They're probably not pulling. They're probably trying to use the donkeys as much as they can to pull them. So she will do animal handling checks. How about that? And that'll depend on how far she gets. I like that. I made things more complicated just to make them complicated. Yeah. So what? It's my game. I do what I want. All right. So that is the situation. Now I know the situation. Now I need to write down the situation. Okay. So, we're going to get some initiative. So I think the Bronze Scout, I think, probably has the higher initiative, and then we'll have thick. I guess I can just write crew thick. No, there's no Mama crew thick that we know about. Fingers crossed. Don't say anything. And then we got our two friends. Let's find out what everybody's kind of like. Is they get into +3 initiative. They get 13, 13, 36. Love it. Now that I've moved it. Sorry, I'm doing this. Try to keep those numbers separate. And the crew thick, which also go on a 13. Who has the better decks? I have 16. They have 16. Okay. And 16 and 9 for them. Oh, they're actually harder to hit. I guess because they have that chitin. How many of them? 6. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. $180 away. Ruthic are also 180 feet away. I need to split them up. I will split them up as we're doing it. Hey, let's roll some initiative for our guys. They haven't been doing a great job. Let's find out if they do any better. Okay, alright, here we go, here we go, here we go, alright. Christoph first. Alright, we'll let him go first. Gertrude will be going last. Alright, so at least we got at the top of the initiative order, finally. Usually not that hard, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes. Alright. So at the top of the initiative, we are going to have, it doesn't really matter, actual initiative. We're going to have Christoph, and then all the way down at the bottom, we're going to have Gertrude. This annoys me that it's now on a flip between 2 pages, but it's fine. Fine. Doesn't bother me. Easy way, we don't do those things here. We only do things the hard and complex ways, because I am a masochist. And that's what I'm gonna do. All right, so Christoph's first. Hey, he's got 2 shots with this longbow. You know, on her action, Gertrude could still give him technically, I guess, a bonus help action. I guess. And it's light precipitation, so it doesn't have any disadvantage on attack. So yeah, he just has disadvantage. He'll take a shot at Ruthic. And he's just taking pot shots. So. That's a miss. That, however, is a hit. Alright, so he hits one of them. Dink! And that one will take 4 points of damage. Thing turns around and screeches at him. See the like little boat, and they've got their donkeys kind of out in front of it, almost kind of like a carriage or wagon, just trying to get them to pull. All right. No, how much damage? I think it was 4. I'm pretty sure. All right, so hit one of them at disadvantage. And Gertrude's gonna, so she needs to make 180 feet. And I guess 30-foot increments. She's gonna use her entire, she's up the, how do I want to do this? You know what, I'll say that If she's successful, they get to pull 45. Oh, that's right, but yeah, I'd say this is still, yeah, because she has training in land vehicles and animal handling, which that makes more sense than like boats or water vehicles does, even though that's not really a thing anymore in 5.5. But hey, I still like those. I think it's weird that we got rid of them, like a lot of other weird changes we made. She's at 0. So she's gonna use her bonus action. Give help. Kristoff. It'll be like calculate. Oh, sorry. Calculate for the wind. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Let's back to shoot again. And she's gonna make an animal handling check. RDC is 16 for this scene. That's what she's trying to hit. Trying to mush these doggies along. Mush, mush. Yeah. He snaps the reins. And probably makes an almost like predatory kind of saurian lizard folk kind of Drake kind of sound. And Apollonia and Rudolph are like, oh shit, we need to go. Start taking off. Should we give her a bonus? Yeah, why not? You don't roll them. You know, always want to reward the natural 20s if we can, even though you're not, skill check you can't actually crit on. But it's fun to do. To make you feel like you did extra work. So we're gonna say they go 60. Alright, so they're a third there off the crit. Love it. Oh right, these guys did some stuff. This bronze scout attacked these guys. I think he only gets one attack. He missed. The Kruthic get a bunch of attacks though. They get 6 attacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think they have pack tactics, do they? They do. Never mind. They do have pack tactics. Alright, we're going to redo all these rolls. First one's not going to get pack tactics. Actually, the first one needs to make a... Did they lose enough health? Make a con... No, they did not. Alright. So the first one just makes a straight attack, and then everybody else gets pack tactic. Well, no, I guess everybody does. We said they were swarming. Alright, well that's a miss. 1 crit. Ouch. A hit. A miss. A miss. And wow. I missed. Okay, so a crit and a hit. Wow. How much damage is D4 plus 3. So the Bronze Scout will take 11 points of damage as these things rend over and hear their like teeth scraping against the bronze plates like fingers on chalkboard. They try to like wrench the plates apart and like get into it, even though there's no like gushy insides for them to eat. All right, but that guy I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. It's okay though. That way. All right. That was the end of the round. They brought us back up to Kristoff. Kristoff was able to make 1 shot, just straight. Which, is that going to hit these guys? Nope, that's a miss. And then the second shot. Disadvantage. Natural 1, not going to hit. Alright, so miss. The scout gets to do their thing. They'll turn around and try to stomp on the one that is injured. Continue to roll very, very poorly. And Kruthic will go. 1, 2. Hit. 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 Oh no. Hit. Alright, so it's gonna take 6. Oof. Oofta. Not gonna be enough to kill it though. 14 plus, what was their bonus? Actually, with first. Yeah, because it's gonna be 3 because every single one of them hit. Oh yeah, that's like 32 points. Yeah, these things just jump over and just rip this thing to shreds. Just to absolute ribbons as it gives out this metallic screech. I can't talk, but it will add a little flavor as it screeches. When that guy goes to 0-0. Kristoff lost his health action. Kristoff can't do anything. Classic Kristoff with his level of usefulness. Yeah, he's shooting at disadvantage. He's trying his best. But they watch it shoot. They see that happening, and they go, oh, those things absolutely just ravaged over that thing. And now, oh my god, they're gonna kill him. And then they're gonna kill me. Alright. Gertrude. Hi, Gertrude. What's going on? Oh, get the hell out of here. Yeah, no, that sounds like a pretty good idea, actually. So she's gonna do an animal handling check. I'd really love another crit here. There's no way she's not gonna use the bonus action on herself, though. No, hold on. Because if she does that, she can't give Kristoff any help. Kristoff doesn't. Kristoff could shoot, I guess. Thing is, like, pulling on the oars is not going to be, like, paddling's not going to be helpful when you already have draft animals pulling it. It's going to actually probably cause more drag than the bonus you're going to get from pulling on it. So yeah, she will, I guess, use her bonus help action because that's more useful than the D4. Do that for him. It doesn't matter. She's going to fail this. So she's just going to go the standard amount. They do another 30. So they're up to 90. They're halfway there. They're trying to exit that, and at that point, we'll call that like an exit vector. Or we could transition into a chase scene. Because Kristoff has this ability to keep shooting at creatures. It is his turn at the top of the round. It pretty much took all of them to take that thing down. Probably not, but I didn't figure to count it, so do that. And then they'll all run on their turn, swarming towards them. So, Kristoff will take a shot, I guess. Advantage. Nope, not gonna hit. Not gonna hit with that either. Great job, Kristoff. I mean, I know you have disadvantage, but you set expectations really high when you hit with disadvantage on the first round. You know, this is your fault, Kristoff. I know what to tell you. Alright, that's miss and miss. Brown Scout is down. These guys are running. Alright, they have dark vision, tremor, sense, passive perception. What do they got? Their speed is 30. They can burrow very slowly. They can climb. There are no trees for them to climb to like get into branches and like brachiate towards this. That's good. They also don't have a swim speed, which means they move at 30. So at that point, it takes them their entire turn to move when we fail that we will do that. So at that point, we're moving at speed with each other. At that point, it feels like maybe do that. Because they'll full dash on their turn, which will be 60, but that's half because they have to swim. But there's potentially some dry land they could also run across. I guess that's what we'll do. So they have the same thing. They have we'll just say like it's a DC luck check. So they need to get a 16 or better to, if they do a 16 or better on their turn, they will find dry land, which will allow them to move their normal speed, which is not good for us. Okay, I like that. It kind of makes sense. Sure. Yay, theater of the mind. Sometimes that'll happen. All right, so the crew thick. It is their turn. They're going to go. We're going to roll. We need a 16 or better for them to go their full speed. Hey, what do you know? They get it right out the bat. Oy. All right, so they're going to close distance. We'll keep their little thing separate. So it is just a rush. They're down to 120. 120 in closing. All right, that's Gertrude. All right, girl. What are you gonna do? Yeah, this time, bonus action, myself. All right, so 14, 15, 16, she's gonna get that. Just off of her proficiency bonus. So, they pull. Apollonia and Rudolph pull. Work their way through this high water. Pulling the thing forward. Moving as fast as they can. They will get to go 45 feet. That puts us at 135. To exit the sort of like combat area. Lose these creatures at this point. Back up the top, that's Kristoff. Kristoff's gonna, I guess, shoot these things. They are not... Corpo is 80? Yeah. So still a disadvantage. For now. For now. But, it'll change. Yeah. I was trying to figure out whether he should hold his turn to attack maybe once they get within close range, but yeah, let's take the shots. Take the shot. No. No. Still 13 to hit. Trying to do, but that's okay. Nope. 2 more arrows plunk into the water nearby. Into the marshy land next to them. And the horde continues to run towards them. Yay. But they only go at their half speed. As they have to try to swim through the water again. Means they only get to move 30 down to 90 feet in closing. 90 feet in closing. So if we roll well, we can get out of this. Still just outside of the range though. Really sucks. Sorry, Kristoff. Thought about getting you a longbow. Should have probably spent the money to get you a longbow. Would have made this easier. But I felt like he was more of a short bow kind of guy. Hey, hellfire rises up. Evil comes to the mortal realm, and death with suffering takes the world. You've corrupted the GM. He's now also bullying Kristoff. And Kristoff, more than anybody, just seems to roll really poorly. I don't know why that is. It's very funny. All right. So, Gertrude. P16. Gonna give herself a little pat on the back. That guidance. Ooh, love to see that. I don't think that's gonna be enough. That's 10 plus her. I should look at her, not Kristoff's. No, animal handling would be either a dexterity or a wisdom, neither of which she has points in. So, nope, that's gonna, nope, not great for us. She's doing her best. She's failing, but still making progress. 165, so we're outside the range. But one more pull and we'll get there. So it's really if they can... I don't think there's any way they can get on top of us. So I think we're actually good. As back up at the top, it's Kristoff. They're just outside of his normal range, so he will make another 2 attacks at disadvantage. He shoots himself in the face. No, he doesn't do that, but come on, buddy. However, the second shot, after he flubs it up, I think he's like bowstring comes off the bow and he has to like re-put the bowstring back on. This time he picks it up and fires it and actually hits one. It should hopefully be enough to take the other one out. And then does minimum damage. Of course it does. Thanks, Christoph. Doing a great job, bud. Gonna get the participation trophy for this fight. I was also there. I didn't do much, but I was there. Alright, and that means that at least one of them has to make a morale save. One that got hit, injured, because I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think their charisma is lower than that. Their charisma, just barely. Their charisma is a 6. They do not make the roll under, so one of them flees combat. So good for us either way. As the rest of these will charge down. Do they get to do their full movement? No, they do not. They're still swimming through the water. Means they only get to move 30, so they're at 60 feet and closing. So, we really can't fail this at this point, which is good for us, but it does seem a little bit of a cop-out. I'm willing to give it to him. Hey, look, I set up the things to begin with. You do your best. Maybe it wasn't the most balanced thing in the world, but that's fine. Hey, you? Thinking to myself, you take the win. Just take the win. Alright, I'll take the win. Wasn't trying to make it that easy on myself, but I'll take the win. I'll take the win. Alright, Gertrude, no matter what she does, but let's see if she gets a success anyways. She will give herself a little bit of guidance, which so she gets a plus, just a +2 to this. +6. So she needs to roll a 10 or higher, really kind of cap this off, which she does. Alright. So they quicken up and they move into the area, and they are able to create enough separation that they are able to lose visual acuity with these creatures. And these creatures don't have any like olfactory sense, and we're beyond their tremor sense range. They can't feel us in the water or anything. So we make our escape. Like, thank you. All right, so we exit combat. Pass for another, what's that? 210 over 180. And so we with the Bronze Scout, but only scare off one critic. And we are able to keep the area for pack catches. Alright. So, could have gone really bad for us. Didn't go really bad for us. Always nice. Alright, so that is our wild encounter. I do also need to roll for our buddy Christoph here. He has a quiver, a d6. We shot a lot of arrows, so we need to roll a d6. So if we roll a 1, that means that his quiver will go down to a d4 of arrows for a resource die. Okay, so he still has plenty of arrows. That's good. It's funny to bully him because of how bad he is. Yeah. It's surprising that Reed felt more useful than him, and Reed is just just a cute little mouse with level 0. And yeah, he's just a little guy. I mean, he got some kills now under his belt. A win is win. We'll always take it. Yeah. Don't look the gift horse in the mouth. We got the win. Take the win. We should take the wins. Perfect. All right. So that means that this day has gotten us to the point where we did our encounter. We passed our stamina. Great. Is there a point of interest here? Almost assuredly not. There's not. Back to our... And I'll deal with this. So I'll just put down in here. Here, do it this way. Bronze Scout killed. We'll say destroyed. Construct. Is continuously. I should say by cruiser. All right, so we know what's in this one, so let's figure out what's over here. We're still in the marsh area, so 10. Okay, so that's one dryer, so that's going to be some heavy forest. Not the best area for us to travel through. It really will slow us down. So. Nope, don't want to do that. I want to do. Boop. But which makes sense with like the encounter. They're chasing us. We break through into the waters of Green Lake, which is the area we're passing into, and suddenly it's just water in front of us. Pyrrhic are not going to chase us into water. So it makes sense that we would just plow down right into it, and then mules can swim, or donkeys, I keep calling them mules. Donkeys can swim a little bit, but we will get them into the boat once the Pyrrhic kind of abandon where they are.
Mm. It's gonna do that thing though, isn't it? Yeah. It is. Well, hopefully you can hear me now.
There we go. That should be back. All right. Yes. Okay. So we know where we are. We're headed this way. Lots of open water. Not the greatest place to camp, but that's where we are. And wish I know. Oh, it's scuffed. Ooh. All right. Yeah. Sometimes OBS freaks out with the mic for whatever reason and tries to change it. I don't know why it does that. I can't seem to figure out. I've looked at it a few times. I can't figure out why it does this sometimes. It just like tries to swap the mic settings. I think it has to do honestly with my headphones more than anything else. But it is a weird thing it does. All right, so we are here. We're gonna bed down for the night. The question only is as we rest overnight, will there be any intrusions? Please no, please no, please no. Please no, please no, please no. Of course there is. Of course there is. Alright, well there is an intrusion. This is pretty early on in the night, so I think Gertrude probably do that. I don't think there's any reason, knowing that they're going out for a long rest, that he would not spend a hit die and get a minimum 2 hit points back to get full health. He'll definitely get that back at the end of his long rest. But on Kristoff's watch, as seems to be the case, something will happen. Oh, they're gonna bed down. A random encounter. Love it. Great. Perfect. Love to see it. Let's look at the map. Still out in kind of the middle, the boonies. Let's figure out. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So I rolled this guy. So we're gonna see some giants. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, just that we're kind of like bed down for camping and talking about. Oh, it could be in a better place, but it could be. We're actually doing much better on time than we are expected. We basically moved double time. We're actually doing really well on time. Got some clutch 1 rolls, which is nice, and we have the right vehicles and mode of transportation for the time. Definitely, if we did not have the donkeys or the boats, we would be going a hell of a lot slower. We would have camped a long time ago. Alright, so we're going to have some sort of giant encounter. There's not a lot of low-level giants. Thing. There are not a lot of these guys. Giants. Go ahead and throw it over here. Then we'll try to find maybe some gigantes. Random encounter. We only got 2 people. Always want to try to do a hard. Make me a matchmaker. Yeah, make me a hard encounter. Hey, do you want 6 DR1 or higher creatures? No. Sometimes the really bored. There's not a lot of low-level giants. That's the problem. DR1 is about where they start. So I wanted to make sure that we kept this up because give us some information. We got some others down here. Roland, young hill giant. Gives a little bit more stuff to play with. Young ogre servant. Ogre. So it doesn't really matter. Sometimes this is easier because this counter builder is always a little weird. Actually, knock this out. We'd have a bunch of CR0 stuff, CR18s. Where do we actually start at? We need zeros, halves, ones. 1/8 is not going to do. We could have 1/1/2. That's a hard encounter. So yeah. So the question is, do we have? We'll just roll. We'll do D10. If I roll, well, one creature at that level is probably easier. Maybe not. Let's go with. I don't know. We'll ask the Oracle instead. All right, Oracle. Is it only one creature? That's an easy one. Nope. All right, it's multiple creatures. That gives us an idea. So it means it's going to have to be halves. It have to be zeros. So we're going to have multiple. Which giant child? I know that's weird. We're probably going to go with like half giants. It's fine. We're not actually going to fight children. Children wouldn't be out here all by themselves. They don't have like any. You know what? Maybe we should just do this guy. That may be easier. Trying to figure out how a medium-sized creature is a giant. That'll make them a child. We'll just say it's a young hill giant. That makes it. You know what? We'll use the. How about that? I think these are literally the same stat block. They sure are. There is literally no difference in them. So. Green Lake's pretty. It's a big lake, so I assume it's quite deep. So with that in mind, though we are pretty close to the shore. Well, I mean miles from the shore, but actually no. So they must be out here on like a little coracle or something by themselves. I like that. With a young giant, also known for being rather belligerent, as would an ogre. Same thing. You sure about that? Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. So. Kristoff's sitting there, nice, on his watch on the boat. It's nice and cold. Still got some of that freezing drizzle coming down. Blanket wrapped around him. There's probably got some frost on the side of it. No precipitation. A dark form gliding through the water in his direction. I don't think these guys have dark vision. Oh no, they do. Okay, so they have moonlight, which is apparently indeed enough to be able to see. Wild. Usually not how I roll that, but I don't know. Is this person trying to be tricky? Certainly our boat does not have any lights on it. Because we are trying to. We know that there are people after us. We don't want to be doing that. But Kristoff can see pretty well in the dark. Well, so he can see as well as whatever the screen can see. So they both see like two dark kind of silhouettes on the water, and one of them is clearly Towns, and actually I think no, just well, if you can see it's fine. I'm thinking about the rules. No, that's fine. So they're sort of holding slowly towards the. So it's basically going to be a large coral. Slowly approaches under the moonlight. we will figure out what that's going to be like next time. Probably going to be a fight. But what I do want to do is, when we finish this off, is I want to check in with our old boy Reed, because this is going to be the end. So, what we need to do, roll a d10. Maybe we can figure. Remember, he is on the, and this is such a good music. Gonna keep that going. As he's idling out there in the space between spaces, a d10 as the thing that comes close to him, and again, that voice resonates through him. Is it? It's always a fight. Doesn't have to be, but it usually is. Oh. Interesting. I didn't know that this one would come up. I was thinking of all the ones that would come up. It would probably not be this one. But here we are. So in the darkness, again, I said that there's like this mountain-sized thing that's moving towards him. Booming voice. You're far from home, fated one. And as it reverberates through him, Reed understands that it's not something that's really like hidden his ears. The astral plane's very weird like that. It's more telepathic. But the volume of that telepathy is so high that it kind of resonates through him as if it was kind of like a sound wave, like it moves through. I need to give this thing. I can't even imagine that they would fail this. No, I don't even think a 7's a fail. I think they're extremely likely to know what's going on with him. Your drift on the moats of space, a place between places. A soul in need of help. We'll move closer. And that dark silhouette starts to manifest into an actual tangible shape that Reed can understand. It's a little less like it's moving closer towards him, and a little bit more like something that's really, really blurred out of focus starts to kind of come into focus, and light starts to come up on it at the same time. So this dark amorphous thing starts to crystallize into color and tangible space and light. And it is a massive ship. But, I mean, Reed's seen boats before. He doesn't live anywhere close to the sea, so... But he's seen boats before, and it's definitely larger than any boat he's seen. But he's also seen, like, tapestries and books that have ships on it, and this ship does not look like any of those ships. Let's... you know what? I'm gonna have to actually pull up his character sheet. I'm gonna need it this time. Let's figure it out real quick. Reed, here we go. I'm just making sure. Yeah, he's not trained in Arcana, which is what he would need. As this thing moves. Because it's got a bunch of mass and sails in the like weird spots. It looks like an AI like early AI image generation be like, hey, make a ship for me. And it's like everything seems weird and out of place on this thing. And it does appear to basically be floating on nothingness. As it comes closer and closer, and he's faced with what he guesses passes for a deck on this thing. It's kind of like middle of the ship. It's weird, like it also has covering over it. Looks like there's maybe more like floors above it or decks above it than the open deck where it's on. And there is a creature standing there. And it is nothing like anything Reed has ever seen. It is chartreuse in color. It is spotted in a way that's almost Saurian, but also not at all like that. More like frog or toad, almost amphibious, but not wet. And strange long ears like an elf, but wisps of facial hair as well, which is not an elf thing for the most part. Confused at the character. Now kind of looking up a bit from this deck position. They're relatively close, probably within. See that you're stuck. We could offer assistance. Another one of these similar kind of creatures comes up and you would think like whisper in his ear, but he just cocks his head in their direction as if the person's going to whisper in their ear, but they just kind of look at them as telepathy goes. You're right. He's a halfer. Aren't you? Yeah, I'm a halfer. That's correct. I am a halfer. I am a notable lord. If you could return me to my home, certainly we could figure out some reward. And then there's like a bunch of silence there. And then it kind of filters through this sort of like echoing, strange chorus of laughter through thoughts of many, many people laughing. In a very sort of like jovial style, almost as though he's told us a great joke. No, little one. I don't think there's anything you can offer me, riches that I can't take. But there's something that you can do, much simpler, easier. I could do. Reed kind of looks at this benefactor, potential benefactor, and like looks at this gigantic ship. Now, let's give him a little. Oh yeah, natural 20. Coming up from like behind the form of the ship, over it, and kind of doing a little lazy barrel roll around it, is a dragon, just kind of looping around it, with another one of these strange amphibian-looking creatures riding on it, with like a saddle. You can go places, you can pass through areas without the amount of scrutiny that my compatriots get. So we're willing, potentially, to... I assume you wish to, as you said, go back home. We can make that potentially happen. But you need to provide a certain service for us. We need something from your corner of existence. Something quite precious to us. Something we want quite a lot. Nothing that would be much easier for you yet than us. on your promise that your oath. Well, a man of your word, certainly you are. Bring it to us, and your debt is paid. But you have time to think, I can tell. So, we have other means to attend to. You will find that time works differently here. So we were to away. I want you to think upon my proposal. And think if it's worth it to you. Now, you have some days. Think of it. And the unfortunate thing about when we leave is that once we pass through this conversation, time slips by and ebbs, flows, and the days before our return might seem mere minutes, hours, weeks, maybe even months. Should time pass fleetingly, you will not have a lot of time to think. Should it pass slowly for you, well, problem is either you will be very desperate to take our offer, which we plan on that to be, or you will be quite mad in the loneliness. But should you not be mad, and should you only be desperate, we will know you are the right person for. So, and then Reed's gonna need to make a. I think it's gonna be an intelligence save, but the DC is gonna be here. 13, okay. Intelligence save, he doesn't get any bonus to that, so he needs to roll 13 or better. He does. As he feels, it feels like the immediate onset of a headache. Ow! As something probes into his mind. Not softly, but like the edge of a knife. Probing to find something within his brain. Ow. Well, perhaps you're the one for us after all. Well, little one, rest assured, we will be back to check upon you. But for now, consider our offer. Think of everything you've lost, everything you could have back, could regain it. All for the trifle of a small favor. Well, I would be lying if I said it was small. Let's say a service rendered that as important to me as your life is likely. For one. Well, I must away. Think upon it. Shall turn. And like that, ship turns, glides off. Dragon continues to do lazy circles around it. They pass quickly from the size of a mountain back to the size of a marble. Pass away into space. And Reed is left alone, anchored to nothing in a space between space. I think that is a good place to call it this session. We'll pick up next time. That was the first of Reed's visitors. Let's make a note. We don't have to do any more ability score check stuff for Reed. He has maxed that out. So Reed encounters the strange ship with a dragon, captained by a strange amphibian elf-like. Spoiler alert, that's Gith, if you don't know what that is, if you haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 for some reason, but that is a Gith of some type. He does not know the difference between Githyanki and Githzerai, so it's just a Gith. And he doesn't know what they mean, he doesn't know what they want. But they are willing to trade his life for a favor. A service rendered once he's desperate enough. All right. Are we a warlock now? Could be. We don't know yet. I mean, I have things down in my notes of things that might go. There are a lot of different things. So like I said, there are 10 different things down on this list. And once we get through all of them, because I want them to be a surprise as we go through them, I can't do that surprisingly. Like, I need to pre-plan that because that would be weird stuff for me to try to come up off my brain. Each one is going to offer a different deal, and each one could provide a different avenue to power. Cthulhu shows up next and says, "Hey, I got a deal for you." Well, the Gith are aberrations, so who knows who's in charge of them? Could be other people. They were certainly enslaved by the Mind Flayers for a while. So, if you use full D&D lore. But it could be something else now. But, long session. That's okay. We need to get through it. We got through day 1. We are done 2 days of journeying, though. We are very, very close. Or, not very close. I should say we're significantly closer than I thought we would be to getting to Druid Marks. So, the way that this is kind of set up is that there are options that Reed will have the opportunity to make deals with. There are potential entities that might reach out to him. As a fated one, this kind of goes into like the low magic discussion that Simon the Half-Orc and Christoph had about the Mythalar bracelet. Something that's coming up in the setting which we haven't really talked a ton about before because it hasn't been important, is that magic has a semi-radiation kind of quality to it, and not everybody is okay with it. Like, some people are a lot more inured to it, and those people tend to be the people who end up doing adventuring. It's a nice little easy way to... Monsters are also drawn to magic. This magical resonance on areas of power, magic items, that sort of thing. It kind of gives us a diegetic, a nice in-universe reason for why only some people have really powerful magic items. Otherwise, it can make people really, really sick and or kill them. It also seems to draw a lot of monsters towards you, so it's kind of one of those things where it's like the more powerful you get and the more magic items you get upon your person, because adventurers tend to just be more magical in general, the more and stronger monsters that will be drawn towards you. So now it makes sense why, even when you are a badass 15th level adventurer, why they would still be attacking you. So just to kind of give us a nice diegetic reason. So that also means that Reed is clearly one of those people, and that can be recognized also by other important and powerful. So that is what we can do there. So we should hit this up next week. Well, I'm excited to see who might show up for Reed next, and see if he makes a deal before they get to Druid Marks. His retainers get to Druid Marks, and if they can convince Druid Marks to do some sort of resurrection on Reed, be able to bring him back to life, or he makes a deal with who knows what entity, because there are not great things on here, including number 10 that we just talked to, are kind of they're not great. They're not terrible. They're not the worst thing on here, but they're not the best thing. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. This is always fun. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and you can see how solo RPGs do. If you want to catch up on everything up to session 13, down in the description there's the playlist. You can also find it over on the YouTube channel. Other things, we have other stuff going on, other videos you can check out. We've got reviews and talking about stuff and GM crafting and all kinds of fun D&D and D&D adjacent TTRPG kind of stuff, content. And I think that's it for me. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll see you guys real soon. All right?